Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a Triple B Wrestling Review. I'm your host, Howard Blues, here, as always, with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. Kidder, how you doing tonight?
Well there, buddy guy, I'm doing pretty decently, not too bad. We just made it through another premium live event. What? Yeah, did I say something funny, rude boy? He muted himself. It was so funny.
I'm not your buddy, gay.
Not your guy, friend. Yes. I'm doing all right, and here's why. Because tonight I made it through this premium live event, but Rude Boy Kyle was also watching it, and we were able to have that commentary back and forth, and that's what got me through the rest of the show, past the open, and we'll talk all about that, especially with how Rude Boy feels about it. But we have a couple pieces of business to attend to. First of all, Rude Boy, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Saturday night, and
Yeah,
it's all right for fighting.
that's right. And Jaco, I have to tell you this, because last night we were talking about the upcoming pay-per-view for AEW. It is Double or Nothing. It's in Las Vegas, and it's on May 28th. It's a Sunday. You know what takes place on May 27th? A premium live event, live from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It's Night of Champions, which will take place at noon Central Time. So, on Saturday afternoon, we'll have one of these, and Sunday night, we'll have one of these.
I quit.
It'll be a weekend full of fun.
I'm out.
The triple header, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be
need
something.
a nap.
Yeah. So
It's going to be something.
So there is that. Okay, so that's the first piece of business. The second piece of business, we need to get to the most popular segment on our show in history, and that, of course, is What's on Tap. We need something to drink right now. Now. And Howard, what do you have? I see you have your premium t-shirt on, because this was a premium live event. You can get your premium t-shirt on our website, beerbluesbs.com. You can also get it on our Streamlabs merch store, and that is pinned in the chat if you're watching this video right now. So streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs. Please help support the show. Get the tip jar going. What do you got, Howard?
Well, Kidder, I know last night when we were recording the main show, I said I wasn't going to do it, but I changed my mind. Kidder, I once again have the shot glass and the bottle of schnapps. And for every one I get wrong in our prediction game tonight, I will be taking a shot of this Ice Hole salty caramel schnapps.
Well done.
So that's what I will be hopefully not drinking tonight.
All right. Rude Boy Kyle, you got the black mystery glass over there. What is your beverage of choice?
This is from the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders game. It was previously filled with a 32-ounce beer, but tonight it is filled with Captain and Coke.
So the captain's going to make it happen tonight.
We'll find out.
That's what you're really hoping. Okay, fair enough.
What do you got, Mark?
Well, you know me. I'm multitasking and doing things that should have been scheduled when I was watching the premium live event instead of last minute. But I'm throwing up the post right now to say that we're live, so we can have more than a couple people watching and joining us and commenting, because that's what this is all about. So I feel that I need to have one of these after what we just watched. So this is a tasty beverage. It is from New Belgium, and it's a Mountain Time Premium Lager. I've had it on the show before. Big supporter of the Colorado Avalanche, of course, and it's 4.4% alcohol by volume, a 12 fluid ounce can, 1 gram of protein, and 130 calories in this. And it is aluminum from the Ball Corporation, a big time sponsor of the Colorado Avalanche as well. So, got to throw that into the North Dakota Fighting Sioux Yeti just to keep it at its optimal chilled temperature, so then we can enjoy that as we're going. So, let me
Starting
open this
out light
up.
tonight.
Going to have a good one. So, I had mentioned last night, Howard was, as we go on to piece of business type 3, I had an announcement. And obviously, Rude Boy wasn't on the show last night, so he didn't know that we had an announcement, unless he saw the Facebook or Instagram posts throughout the day. So the big announcement, the moment that everyone has been waiting for, well, guess what, Howard? Mark Kidder returns to terrestrial radio. Monday through Friday, the Mark Kidder, yours truly, back on the airwaves, 96.5 The Walleye. You can listen to me live on the frequency, 96.5 FM in the Bismarck, Man, and surrounding area, or streaming on the free 96.5 The Walleye app right on your phone, or also on the website, 965thewalleye.com. So, there's the big breaking news. The Mark Kidder back in the radio business, as it were. It's almost like I never really left. But the more you know. Starts Monday. So cheers.
I mean, cheers. Sorry, my brain is trying to rack why you didn't mention this last night and you waited for this show to.
Because it's live.
We were technically live last night.
Sort of. Nobody was watching. Rude Boy Kyle even turned it off. Nobody was watching.
No, I watched. I participated in the chat.
For half the show. And then
bedtime
like
happens. When you're on about 3.5 hours of sleep in 24 hours because of my wonderful shift work schedule, sleep happens.
It's true. It's true.
Yes.
It's true. So, there's the announcement. Glad that we have 2 people on the YouTubes watching and 1 on Twitter or Twitch. We're on Twitch. Maybe somebody's streaming us on Twitter as well. Not me. But there it is. The big news. And Marco is back in the chat. He's excited I'm back on the air. So I'm glad somebody is. All right. Should we get down to business, as it were? It's a whole show ahead of us. We made it through Backlash, which was sometimes referenced as WrestleMania Backlash, other times as just Backlash, and I guess they settled on just Backlash. So, are we ready?
Yeah.
So is this supposed to be like the final part of WrestleMania, or is it supposed to? What's the? I apologize for the interruption, but like you said, I did notice the jumbled up advertising where they're kind of like, well, this is kind of like a follow up to WrestleMania, but then it's I don't know if it's sort of like a final transition since they did the draft before they start next week, but it's
the whole draft thing too. Don't get me started on that. But the initial idea for this is that WWE has WrestleMania, and then the first pay-per-view, as it used to be called, but now premium live event, would be the Backlash, like the fallout from WrestleMania. And the past couple of years, they've titled it WrestleMania Backlash, when in years past it has just been Backlash. But they've returned to apparently just Backlash. And so Yeah, it is kind of a finalization of those stories, wrapping up WrestleMania season, but also trying to transition into the next set of series. Of course, the next premium live event we talked about at 3 weeks away. It's Night of Champions, where every championship will be defended. We'll just have to see if they are actually defended this year. And
why wouldn't they just finalize it at WrestleMania?
Well, you know, one would think that you would do that, but
well, the Hollywood writers are on strike, so who knows?
Usually it's because if you have like title changes, it's your rematch of that. It's the chance for people to get their belts back and kind of so that. However,
so you're saying the first one at the WrestleMania might not be as legitimate as it usually previously was, or are they just giving it or are they just trying to leech off onto the like a jump into a new season type thing?
It's kind of like they have spent so much time building up their WrestleMania card that they're like, we want to milk it for one last time, make sure that there's nothing left in these feuds.
That's understandable.
And for a while, in fact, they've been better lately, but for a long time, WWE has been very, very heavy on the rematch clause. That's supposedly every time that you have a championship match, I'm going to cash in my rematch clause. They've kind of moved away from that a bit, but that's kind of where this served a purpose to kind of get rid of all of those or anything that has a screwy finish.
Well, it's understandable with the amount of, we'll just call it shenanigans that happens
every show lately.
Yeah. There's some kind of interference or intervention going on, but
the intervention,
some of it's quality, some of it's I'd say detracts from the show, but that's wrestling.
That is the wrestling. I do agree with you there, Rude Boy. But yeah, it is kind of that when you lose at WrestleMania, so somebody else ends up having your championship, then it's your opportunity to get it back, get that revenge. The backlash is coming at you. But
yeah, well, that should happen maybe 4 or 5 months later, because you should walk away from WrestleMania with your tail between your legs. You lose on the big stage. You should have prepared better.
Should have prepared better.
You should have performed better.
I like it. Yeah.
Wrestled better.
The storyline should have been written better.
If only we were in charge.
Oh, man, yeah. I tell you. Well, yes.
Maybe that's an impetus for an episode in itself. Instead of the reaction show, if we were in charge of wrestling, what would we do?
That would be a very long show indeed.
It would be. It could be it could be a series in itself.
Multi-decade series, yes.
I'm sure there's not enough of those floating around the internet.
Probably not, no.
We digress.
Yeah. So, yeah, couple shows coming up, and we are now on the road to SummerSlam, the hottest show in the summer, this year taking place in Detroit once again. We have Night of Champions coming up at the end of the month, and then I don't even remember if they've announced the other ones yet.
And we know Detroit, Michigan's known for its...
Money in the Bank, June 2nd. That is in London, and that'll be at the Millennium Dome.
Ooh.
So that one's June 2nd, and that'll be another, midday show, because they're 6 hours ahead of us or so. And then on one of the best days of the year, August 5th, will be SummerSlam, again, live from Ford Field in Detroit. So there's your upcoming...
2 Detroit shows.
Upcoming schedule. So, here we go. This is WWE Backlash, live from San Juan, Puerto Rico. And here's how the show works. Howard, the ref, give us the rules.
All right. Yes. If you've never joined us for one of our kind of review shows, Kidder and I, for many, many, many years now, have had this little kind of contest back and forth where we make predictions on how we think the night is going to go. So who's going to win what match? Sometimes we throw in some bonus questions like how many suplexes is Lesnar going to give his opponent, if certain people are going to show up, things like that. And it's just kind of for fun, for bragging rights, I always joke. And we like to see how it goes. So with it, Kidder always locks in his picks before the event starts. Because of life and kids, I don't really watch the show, and I don't even see spoilers. So I get to make my predictions live. And being also that I tend to be very busy, I don't really get to follow a lot of wrestling these days. So I have no idea why some of these matches are happening and why some other matches are not. You'll probably hear me ask some questions as we go.
You'll soon find out.
Yeah, but I'll call it live. Kidder will give us a rundown of the match. We'll give some thoughts, some opinions. And again, tonight, if I get them wrong, I'll be drinking shots of Ice Hole from this lovely bottoms-up shot glass from Alaska that my sister gave me. So, yeah. That's the rundown. And, of course, as we always start, because Kidder is such a video guy, we always start with the opening package.
Yes. Cold open video tonight. As it, generally is with the WWE product. Somewhat disappointed in it, to be completely honest with you, because it had some cool effects, like the logo, the stylization this year, pretty good. I enjoy it. The lower thirds, very good, very interactive. I dig it. But this opening video was all Bad Bunny and his hopes and dreams and revenge. And then they went into match clips leading up to the matches in tonight's premium live event. So I don't want a promo in the open video. I want an open video to get me excited about the show. I already watched an hour of worthless streaming, unlike this show, the kickoff show before this, so I got to see all these video packages. I don't want to see it again. Whatever. So,
One thing I will inject into the video, or at least before the matches started, was I really appreciated the drone flight from the outside of the arena to inside, up and down, through the concourse and into the arena. That was pretty slick.
Yes, the drone shot, fantastic.
I like that one.
That was good. That was good. I thoroughly enjoyed that. So good on them for doing that, and I think they will probably do that again as they head to Saudi Arabia, because they were messing with that last time they were in Saudi Arabia as well. It's also an open air arena in Saudi Arabia. If they're at the same, I think they're at the King Saud Dome or whatever it is, so they should be able to do that. Anyway, Michael Cole said the attendance, 17,944 people, and it was sold out. And, of course, Corey Graves, Michael Cole there, and the Spanish announce team. Gracias, amigos. Welcome to the show. Marco saying the kickoff show lasting longer than anticipated. I mean, yeah, an hour is much too long for the kickoff. In fact, I wish that they would get rid of the kickoff show now if they're not going to have matches on it at all, because it doesn't really serve a purpose, in my opinion.
Make it a half hour.
I mean, that would at least get you a quick promo on the matches. But
well, I mean, do you really need a feel good piece on every kickoff show? I mean, I don't know. it reminds me sometimes that like you just have the Kentucky Derby style build up, and it's like you've got the story of Glue Stick and everybody's story about this thing, and we've got to go into about 10 minutes about how Glue Stick was trained by John Horsemans and
Glue Stick.
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes if you can make those like 2 or 3 minutes, and if you do 1 or 2 of them, great. But
yeah,
get on to the action.
Has never been known to do anything quick, especially in that nature. And the kickoff show used to serve to have 1 or 2 of the lesser prominent matches on it. And if they would go back to doing that, fantastic. Plus, we can end the pay-per-view / premium live events at 10 o'clock Central Time. We can get it over with. There's none of this 10:30, 11 o'clock garbage. And I mean, tonight,
they only ran 5 minutes over tonight.
They only went 5 minutes after, and so that's kind of impressive that it was that short. But again, their tendency to go half an hour to an hour, longer than is kind of necessary because it gets a little bit long, and we'll talk about that as we get into the show. But I almost don't mind the hour if they don't air all of that crap on the pay-per-view or premium live event itself, because you've already seen it before the show, and don't waste your time airing it again, because again, the promo videos and everything, it gets to be way too long. Anyway, so first match of the night, it is for the Raw Women's Championship. Yes, this is your opening contest. Io Sky versus champion of Raw in the women's division, Bianca Belair. With this, I chose Bianca Belair to retain. Rude boy.
Yeah, I chose Io Sky. I was kind of put on the spot. He
forgot.
I did not forget.
Here we go.
No,
gonna set him up.
Yeah, it was just something that I believe the last time I did watch, I remember picking Belair. I believe, might be wrong, but I remember texting Mark and I mentioned something about how the whole hair shtick is kind of overplayed and
the braid
run its course. So I picked Io Sky because it was something that I made my picks for the entire night during the first match before it was done. So I was like, well, she's a scrapper, she's a fighter, and we'll go with her.
Yeah. So, with this, I think it's going to stay on Belair. As much as I'd like to see maybe somebody else like Io Sky get the title, I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to keep the title on Belair. I think Io Sky is just somebody they could put up for a one-off pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
So
this match was 18 minutes in length. And now that the predictions have been locked in, ding, 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 here we go. This was a pretty good match altogether. Lots of cheering. Everybody in the crowd was behind the superstars. And then suddenly, everybody shifted to Io Sky, including booing Bianca Belair. And not just a light boo, like an enthusiastic boo. So, kind of crazy. They were flipping around, doing body slams, off the mid rope, the top rope. There were some very unique spots, like a double foot stomp onto Bianca's left arm at one point.
She really emphasized that injury tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It was something, she went after it multiple times, almost got a 5 count 3 or 4 different times.
The DQ count.
Yeah, so the DQ count came into a factor, but
corner punches.
Yeah.
At one point, Bianca tried to do the press slam, but that arm injury, and she was hurting from it, and ended up sending Sky face first on the mat. I went, oh, because that had to have hurt somehow. I actually thought that Io had her face busted open there.
Yeah, that was out of all the moves tonight, that one I winced at too. So it was
yeah,
it was scary looking.
It was definitely
face took
something.
the brunt.
So there was a lot of back and forth with this, and I did appreciate that. Lots of high flying back and forth, including a 450 splash that Io Sky got her knees up for, and then Belair tried to power bomb, but ended up getting a sit out face buster and a 2 count instead. Double knee attack, and Belair was trying to go for the KOD, which is her finishing maneuver, of course, but Io Sky got out of the ring, and then, got some shenanigans going on. Sky ended up going to the top of the turnbuckle and hit a huge moonsault flying through the air where Belair was standing on the floor. Very good. Sky rolled through and stood up and, did a couple moves there. They ended up getting back into the ring. Sky tried to go for a Hurricane Rana, but Belair ended up blocking it and hit a power bomb from the middle turnbuckle for 2. It was very close, near a fall right there. Now here's where the fun stuff starts happening. Rude Boy is going to be real excited for this. Well, guess what? Damage Control's Bayley and Dakota Kai came down to the ring. Bayley gets on the apron. Belair went after Sky, and then, Bayley grabbed Belair's hair. Belair punched Sky, and then Kai's up on the apron. Belair had Sky on her shoulders, knocked Dakota Kai down. Sky countered a KOD attempt for a near fall, and that was a very close 2 count. And Bayley gets back goes up to the ring there. Belair sent her out. Well, at this point, Sky put Belair into the ropes, and Kai kicked Belair. Sky goes up top and jumps off with a moonsault attempt, but Belair moves, and now Belair is laying on the ground. Bayley grabs Belair's hair, but suddenly the referee catches it, and then Bayley lets go. Belair ends up countering Io Sky at this point, because you got Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Anyway, Belair gets the KOD, a 1, 2, and 3. Your winner and still Raw Women's Champion is Bianca Belair. And Howard, you are sitting there asking if that is the Triple B DraftKings screwy finish of the night. Rude Boy, I throw that question to you.
It's definitely a strong candidate for the screwy finish of the night.
Do you think it is? Is it or is it not? We got to make that determination. Think about all the rest of the matches. Is it? He's thinking. No? I'm going to hold that on a no for that one. Okay. We'll hold that on a no. It's a no. That is not the screwy finish of the night. All right. So that's done.
Oh, wait.
What?
Wait. I think I was muted. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. I was going on my rant about how it was the screwy finish of the night.
Oh, you think it was?
Well, it's something that the interference type plays when unlisted or unlabeled people come into the ring and try to add their 2 cents. It's almost come to the point where whoever they're trying to help, they're almost setting themselves or setting the alleged beneficiary of the help up for a downfall. And in this case, it was. So as soon as I saw that, I instantly felt the pit in my stomach because my pick for the match was not going to win, because I was like, well, we've got 2 people outside the ring. One's playing by the rules and kind of listening to the ref, and the other one's kind of like, well, I'm had my help by pulling some hair, and so I was like, well, now that I am in the position I'm in right now, I understand the reasoning why, even though Howard came away from his prediction unscathed, he made the right pick because, yeah, I mean, even with a little bit of help, it wasn't a massive amount of help. So it.
Howard, do you think that is the culpability, if you will, of the screwy finish of the night?
I mean, well, as the guy who hasn't seen it, I couldn't tell you because there could be something screwier on the card. So I'm in no position to do that. It is a screwy finish, but
I'd say that it was the screwiest, but I was disappointed by other results. More disappointed.
I'm calling it. There it is. It is the Triple B DraftKings screwy finish of the night. There it is on the screen, just to prove it. It's there. It's done. We've called it.
Where's my DraftKings check?
Wish we. Well, we're still waiting for them to sponsor. We're still waiting for them to sponsor.
That was the first part of my rant that I was going into while I was muted. So I was like, yet to receive my DraftKings check, but
yeah, it's in the mail, I guess.
Yeah, lost in the mail.
So after that backstage scene, Rey Mysterio is there talking with Bad Bunny. They're talking in Spanish, and then Savio Vega shows up and pulls out the red, white, and blue kendo stick, handing that over to Bad Bunny, of course, in the Puerto Rican theme for the night, to use later on in his San Juan street fight.
Street fight!
I think that's what it was called.
Yeah, no rules. No advantages.
San Juan street fight. All right. So there you go. WWE Hall of Famer Savio Vega live in Puerto Rico. Next up, they went through the graphics about the Raw and SmackDown rosters, talking about the draft results and the stupid free agency and the stupid things that are going on with the stupid draft and the stupid new WWE title that isn't split from the one that Roman Reigns has, which is the Universal title, which used to be the frickin' World Heavyweight title, which is not anymore, and now is this, and et cetera, et cetera. Here's the other stupid thing about this whole thing. The new World Heavyweight Championship that is created and has been shown off every instance since Triple H debuted it. Stupid! That's right. Basically, they're having a tournament. Yeah, Glue Stick should win. So he should win this whole contest. The Glue Stick wins because it'll hold it all together.
I just have to throw this in, Kidder, not to interrupt, but I have been trying since Rude Boy Kyle made kind of the comment about glue stick as a racehorse. Way back at the beginning of this, I've been trying to make that joke, and I've been just now finally was able to sign into Twitch and get it to work.
Well, eventually, once you get your check or your free $100 or whatever the credit is from DraftKings, you'll be able to put $100 on glue sticks. So
yeah,
there you go.
You can just pass that right along there. So, basically, what we're looking at with this whole stupid tournament, because they're having a tournament for the title, all right? And it's a Raw-only championship. So one would assume that only the Raw roster would have access to it, or perhaps the free agents, because even in the draft, there's still people who are free agents. This makes zero sense. No, they're having a tournament on Raw on Monday, and then they're having a tournament on SmackDown on Friday, and the winners from each tournament will face each other at Night of Champions to be then crowned the initial winner of the new World Heavyweight Championship. Really? Why?
My only guess is that maybe they want to move somebody back to Raw. Yeah, it's just that would be it. They've done this draft.
So pissed off that he got up and left.
I think Rude Boy got up to refill his beverage, but
you might need to drink more. Yeah, that's very true. So, anyway, there's my thoughts on that. Still agitated with the whole turnout of their decision for the new championship, and then how that's being laid out. All right, next up, the video package for Seth Rollins and Omos. The match that came out of nowhere, right? So, yeah. This, I picked Seth Rollins. Rude Boy.
I chose Omos.
Oh,
big man's got to wins.
Oh my!
I keep thinking that they're going to, because they pushed Omos as this unbeatable monster,
the Nigerian giant,
for so long, and now when he's actually had some big matches, he hasn't won. I almost kind of feel like they've already maybe given up on him, and I think he might be the new Kane in this case, the new Can't. And so I'm going with Seth Rollins.
Okay. Yeah. Kane for the show. All right, so what we're looking at on this one is a 10-minute, 30-second match. Apparently, Omos is a free agent and can appear on either show again. I've mentioned it before. I'll say it again that I think Omos is the personality of a wet sock, and he can't wrestle. I'm not impressed with him, and I just am bored when he's talking or on TV. So, we're off. Seth Rollins was in the middle of the arena, and everybody was singing the theme song, and suddenly Omos came running at Rollins with the shoulder tackle and took him out. So that
before the match even started.
That's right, and of course everybody booed. This was one of those matches where it was, the giant and the very, very, very weak person, and so they were selling this as if
Rollins definitely had the crowd support, though.
Yeah, Rollins had a huge.
Everybody was singing along to his whoa whoa whoas and all that. So it's not like he didn't have any support, but
yeah,
they definitely tried to sell it as we'll call it a David versus Goliath type match. Like,
yeah.
It's like, well, I mean, each wrestler is accomplished in their own right and have their own strengths and weaknesses, but we'll let Mark describe the match, and I'll explain later on why I picked what I did, and explain why I feel how about the match. And
here's the thing. I mean, Rude Boy's onto something, because Omos has been on a losing streak. And everybody goes, wait a minute. Omos is big, bad, and tough. He's supposed to win something. Well, it ended up being somewhat back and forth, and Omos was throwing Rollins around and countering things, and he ended up doing the snake eyes at one point. And Rollins tried to go for the curb stomp at one point, and Omos no-sold it, which is the first time it's apparently happened.
Well, it happened 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
I mean it's something
in a wrestler. He's the first one that has no-sold it, apparently.
Well, no? It's something
who was the Fiend, probably? Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I see Howard. Thank you, Howard, for refreshing my memory, because I have forgotten about the Fiend already, and Bray Wyatt, because, he disappeared off the face of the planet. So,
yeah, without spoiling the end of the match, I will say I was most disappointed in the results and how this played out, because it had so much potential. Like you said, countering the Rollins head stomp. Apparently, well, the announcers said that it's never happened before, and all this. But
so Howard the ref needs to throw the flag on Michael Cole, because obviously he doesn't know what he's talking about.
The match that Bray Wyatt as the Fiend no-sold it. I mean, it was a terrible match, because that was the one where they did like 26, like I think we counted, it was like 26 curb stomps, and it was like the curb stomp him and the Fiend would pop right up, and it
atrocious.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was not good.
So Rollins goes for the stomp. Omos had his hands on the mat, blocks it. Omos gets a choke slam and a 2 count. Rollins gets back to They're on the back of Omos, tries to go for a sleeper, but Omos goes down to one knee, then suddenly powers up, gets up, sidewalk slam onto Rollins. Then MVP goes to the apron. Rollins hits Omos with the stomp. Rollins kicks MVP off the apron to the floor. Rollins hits Omos with a stomp again. Omos kicks out at 2. Rollins is shocked again. Rollins then goes up to the top of the turnbuckle and hits the stomp from the top of there and drives Omos' head into the mat because it's the only way that he could win. Covers for an odd-looking pinfall, but wins again in 10 minutes and 30 seconds. That match was twice the length it needed to be.
Well, I'd say the first 2/3 of the match, they set it up to the point where Omos had the skills, ability, and the fortitude to counter whatever Seth Rollins threw his way. And I was like, all right, my pick's gonna win. This has a real chance of winning. Even though Mark isn't a big fan of Omos, it was something that, like you guys have said, he's kind of been the doormat for big type matches, and he's kind of due for one of those spoiler type wins, and that's why I made that pick that I did. Also, just my uninformed wrestling opinion of Seth Rollins just kind of copying the Far Cry 5 Joseph Seed arc of being the architect and the weird archetype type of I'm the guy wrestling type again. I'm almost the god of wrestling. So it's like, well, I don't know, just not up my street. But I was like, I was kind of cheering for Omos. He countered whatever Seth Rollins had to throw at him. They had the chance to maybe extend the match, even though Mark didn't want to see it. No. Maybe another 3 to 5 minutes. Go back and forth a little bit. But, yeah, like you said, the last third of the match, I'd say, or the last third of the last quarter was awkward, weird, and disappointing to the point that it was like, well, you could have shifted this match another 1 or 2 down the card and made it go another 3 or 4 minutes, but that's wrestling.
A kickoff show match.
Well,
it should have been.
Well, I mean, that's why we have the discussions we have. Is I mean, the opinions that I have are I'm willing to throw my 2 cents your way, and sometimes, well,
you're out of change. You got to start throwing dollars.
I don't have my my euro coins with me, but yeah, it was
the truck cab.
It was something that I even though I made an uninformed choice before the match even happened, the momentum in the first 2/3 of the match was on Omos' side. But then all of a sudden, Seth Rollins is like, all right, I'm going to counter this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to throw an awkward ending into it, and I'm going to win. So I'd say that was the biggest disappointment of the night for me in terms of matches. But
it's a classic overpower match. And then
Kitty
coming around. Yeah. Orion has some thoughts on it too, but he took a nap through this match. Let's see. I was going to mention that from our Facebook comment that Kenneth Roach wanted to see the Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins fights, and his comment that it was entertaining. So thanks for the comment, Kenneth.
It was.
You get to see this video. How are Blues?
Just listening to you guys talk, I mean, I get Kyle's point about wanting to see this go a little bit more, and I think it goes to say something that one of the story of the little guy beating the big guy, the David versus Goliath, to really work, it needs the proper build, and I don't know. It seems like this match kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
At least to me as a guy who hasn't been following. Like, I don't know that there was a ton of build-up for
there wasn't.
What they really did to show, like, Omos maybe constantly beating down Seth Rollins so that, like, when all of a sudden Seth pulls it out, it's a big woo.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, I can totally get Kyle's point of, maybe Omos just should have won, but
yeah, it felt like there was a little bit of storyline that was established in some of the matches that you could say, well, I could see it happening this way or this way because of these reasons. But like you guys have mentioned, this match kind of happened out of the blue. I mean, there's certain wrestlers that have more action than drama, or they let their wrestling do their talking for them. And I think Omos is one of those guys that he lets his performance do the speaking. but with the progression of the match, it felt like there was a good back and forth between the two wrestlers, and even though the announcers sort of built up Omos and the performance of Rollins was like, well, how could he counter a head stomp more than once, or how did he counter a head stomp at all? And it felt like at the end of the match, it was just like, oh, yeah, it was so awkward, like you said, Mark. It had the potential to have something, but it was kind of just a time filler.
Yeah, and it kind of, I would almost guess, if you're not real familiar, and if the buildup of the underdog storyline isn't set right, it just kind of then feels like you have the big, like all of a sudden the cheat code is entered, and all of a sudden Rollins out of nowhere gets the pin, and I can understand that, especially Kyle. I know you don't follow wrestling all that much, so I can. It totally makes sense to me as you're looking at it from an outsider. Wait, this doesn't make sense. For 2/3 of the match, he was beating this guy, and all of a sudden it's just.
Well, it was a fairly even match, and there was a good back and forth. And I mean, not to say that Rollins was mincemeat in the first 2/3, but it was something that Omos he definitely set himself up for a good story of writing himself to victory. But it didn't happen, and we'll see when it happens in the future.
Funny thing is, we've talked about this for longer than the match.
I mean, that's the way she goes. I mean, it was disappointing to the point that you had to talk about it longer than the match lasted. So, at least, I mean, I'm sure Mark would want to move on to the next one, but let's keep on moving, keep on trucking.
Yeah, you got to go get your euros from your rig out front.
The gyros.
Yes. Well, there is a commercial because now you get your items, WWEshop.com, 25% off tonight or something like that. And then Mike's Hard Lemonade. Harder lemonade. Because it hits harder. Which means, guess what? The next match is brought to you by Mike's Harder Lemonade. Then they showed a clip from the Backlash press conference, which was yesterday apparently, because they needed a press conference to get people's interest. Damian Priest and Bad Bunny exchanged words and then started slapping each other, and then Triple H had to break them up. And then it's time for the triple threat match for the United States Championship. In this one, I went out on a limb and chose Bobby Lashley. Rude Boy, your choice.
Let me find it. Well, we're in the United States Championship. I chose Bobby Lashley.
This Mountain Time was good.
I'm gonna stick. I think I'm gonna stick with the champion. Here's the thing, Kidder. I know you shared some of the draft results, and I know I've seen some, but I don't follow enough that I could tell you, like, if the champions or the championship switched brands, like that happens, if Austin Theory is now on a different show than his title is normally. I don't know any of that, but I'm going to just stick with Austin Theory to retain.
So if it helps, Theory goes to SmackDown and has the U.S. Championship, and Gunther is on Raw with Imperium and has the Intercontinental Championship. So yes, they effectively did the title swap once again. But I don't remember where Lashley and Bronson Reed ended up in that.
Yeah. So I'll stick with Theory.
Oh, I guess Lashley was drafted to SmackDown, if I read my notes. Bronson Reed drafted to Raw.
But they could have had a graphic that showed more than just all the faces, even though everybody can probably pinpoint who is who. But if they just went through a scrolling graphic with their name next to their face, it'd be a lot more helpful for the layman understander of wrestling.
Should have watched the draft, Rude Boy. They had the crawls on the bottom with all of the draftees and their respective draft and their show and everything. It was
I put about
way more than we needed.
0 effort into any draft, NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL, whatever professional sport it is. I could probably talk for an entire podcast about why I do not care about any draft. I'll let it be at that.
Here, I thought that we'd get Rude Boy going again, but
you can. There's the opportunity.
He's
but
yeah, be going for a couple days at this rate.
I don't want to derail the excellent train that we're on because.
You mean you don't? Yeah. You want us to continue and discuss this 6-minute 50-second match for the United States Championship?
Honestly, that's probably more entertaining, and but I mean, it's something that I've tried to get roped into fantasy draft pools at work, and I say no, thank you.
You say no way, Jose.
Well,
he doesn't work for the company anymore. Just so you know. So yes. So for this clarification, it was mentioned that there were no DQs and no countouts for the triple threat rules because Howard, you know, and love how screwy they can get with the rules sometimes for these different matches. So there's
what are rules?
Rules? Why do we need rules? So all three of them get into the ring. Lashley goes for a clothesline, and then Theory comes back and hits both of them. Then Lashley takes the upper hand, starts beating the crap out of both of them. But then Bronson Reed, who is not a small man, ends up getting clotheslines on a couple people there. Well, I mean, not a couple people at this point. Lashley. Then Reed and Theory agree to work together. So then Theory goes in and hits Lashley. Well, then Reed turned on Theory by running him over instead. So there was basically the high point of the match. There was some other big moves with Lashley slamming Reed and then hitting Theory with a spine buster. And then Lashley speared Theory, got a 2 count. Reed pulled Lashley out of the ring. Reed did a springboard splash from the middle rope onto Lashley's head/shoulder on the floor. They ended up getting back into the ring. Theory stopped Reed from climbing to the top ropes. Theory tried to go for his finisher on Lashley, but Lashley slipped out of it, applied the Hurt Lock. Theory kicked off the ropes to land on top of Lashley, got a 2 count, but then suddenly Reed came out of nowhere from the top and hit a tsunami splash for a 2 count because Theory came in and broke up the pin. Theory then hit Reed with the forearm smash followed by a running blockbuster neckbreaker. Reed blocked the lift attempt. Reed hit a power slam. And then Reed tried a moonsault from the top, but Theory moved. Lashley hit a spear on Reed. Theory dumped Lashley out of the ring. Theory ran over, quickly grabbed Reed, pulled it up, pinfall right there at 6 minutes 50 seconds, and your winner and still the United States champion, Austin Theory, Mr. A-Town Down himself, which you can't do that because everybody loves the Acclaimed. Fast-paced match. They did the old steal the pin type of finish that you try and see. Going back and forth, and so maybe this one could have had a little bit more time because I felt this was rushed, especially take 4 minutes off of the Omos match, which would have benefited this match. But anyway, that's my story. What's Rude Boy have to say?
Yeah, for how many people were involved, it felt like they all deserved a little bit more time. Because, Howie hasn't taken a shot yet, and the wise, educated guesses of Howard Blues. How dare I guess against them? But it's something that, it felt like even though I was more disappointed with the Omos and Rollins match, it felt like this one was even more of a time filler. It was kind of like just a transition to something that there was going to be even more. You just got that. I just got the feeling in my tummy that was kind of like, well, there's more BS that's going to happen later on. It's just cooking up to be something like that. So, yeah,
this has been quite the drawn out storyline between Lashley trying to get his title back, the U.S. title, and Austin Theory being the futures here, whatever you want to say in that regard. But yeah.
Well, do you think that it was something that they could have chosen a better matchup or put something better in? Like if you were to replace this match with something else, whether it be men, women, if you had the choice, what would you do?
Here's my, I guess, 2 cents on it. And I think that they hit a bit of an issue of Roman Reigns is not on the card. There is no match for the big championship on this card. And so I think you're getting a lot of kind of
filler.
They're trying to put, you're
getting their lackeys and associates to kind of just wait for the big match to come up.
Right. Well, and because you don't have that, you're trying to kind of fill with what you have. The other problem is they've done this draft. They're going to shake everything up. Well, that's fine, but they haven't had time to build anything. Like, truthfully, whether you love the draft or hate the draft should have happened either like right after WrestleMania or right after tonight. It should have started like Monday night, and it's like, hey, we're gonna have the draft, and we're gonna mix everything up.
It begs the question: is WrestleMania the title card biggest event of wrestling in the entire year? Because if they're going to do something big and be a final stopping point, what's the point of having something that is as WrestleMania, and then have something that's like, hey, we're going to have you a chance to kick an extra field goal for the win, but then we're going to change teams, and then we're going to start it all over again. So it's kind of like, well, I don't know. It's tough to equate sport to sport and whatever, but
they've had this problem with it. They have this idea that they want to do this brand split and they want to do this draft, and they have pretty much kind of sucked in the last 10 years about when and how they do the draft.
Sure.
Because they choose the wrong time to do it. They used to do it like right before things like Survivor Series, but they always kind of do it right before a pay-per-view, which doesn't make any sense because just as you said, you could be going into wrestle, but why does it matter? I'm switching, to a different brand.
Uh-huh.
And that's why I say, like, it really should happen like after a pay-per-view.
Well, it seems like a battle of storylines versus the event, where there's something where you could be in the middle or approaching the end of a battle between a group or two wrestlers, but there's this roadblock of either WrestleMania or the draft being in the way of that storyline.
Yeah, I mean, basically this pay-per-view is premium live event is really just there because they scheduled it and then they decided to do the draft, and they don't want to start anything until they can, and this is kind of so that's why I think you have some of these holdover matches and some of these like, well, what's the biggest not big match we can throw? Which is why you're seeing things like Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. That's not a big match, but they don't want to start a big feud right now because they're about to all switch shows, and that's then where they want to build their feud.
Yeah.
They don't want to do it now. And so you're seeing things like that. Hey, here's a rehash of the U.S. title with the people who've kind of been in on it for a bit. You guys want this some more? That's kind of why we've had so far, we're 3 matches in and they've kind of been matches, Hey, we can throw Seth Rollins versus Omos because we're really not going to do anything with it.
Sure.
I think that's what you're getting here. You don't have your champion on. You're just trying to put in the best kind of things you can, or the things that carried over. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens got a huge pop when they won at Mania, so let's put them in the main event here. I think they're the main event. I don't know. I didn't see the show, but they're not the main event. How are they not the main event?
Yeah, well,
because there's a double main event that they announced earlier today.
Yeah, when I saw that they were at least trying to push the double main event, I was like, all right, cool. And then I wondered at the end of the match, I was like, well, there was the final match of the night, but what was the other main event? Even the announcers didn't really just kind of sell one or the other as the main event. Obviously,
they said
the last
once.
one.
That's enough for WWE.
Obviously, the last match of the night's going to be the main event.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're going to do a double main event, why not try and if they're going to call this a premium live event, at the end of the night, why am I disappointed in the quality and the lineup?
Welcome
and the
to
story.
WWE programming.
Well, I'm
so sad because he's new to this.
Well, no, I'm not new to it. I'm so little invested in it that it's something that I feel for you. I understand your gripes and your groans and the heartache
over here. This is great.
So it's something that that's all I can say is that's wrestling.
For the record, the other main event on tonight's double main event is Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest in the San Juan street fight. And
I understand why.
On every graphic, not every graphic, probably 98% of the graphics out there, on top of the Backlash text right here, Bad Bunny his picture was right here on top of it. I don't know.
Oh,
if
you got
guys
the
noticed that
2%
everywhere.
graphic.
I did because
Well,
I choose. I'm a purist in my graphics, Rude Boy. You know that.
Yes, of course.
I like the
So
stuff.
for someone like me, if I knew that the events were going to start at 7 p.m. tonight, having little understanding of wrestling, barely following, and even though there's an hour lead up show, you're like, okay, I only have the time to watch 7 to 10 p.m. How would you know it's a double main event? Or how would you even know?
That's actually where I found out because they had the big graphic come up. Double main event. Yeah.
If they're gonna invest an hour into the show beforehand, why not?
Yeah.
In the middle of the show, if they're going to do a 30-second to 2-minute period between events, say this is our card. These are the results so far, and this is what's coming up. This is a double main event. You don't want to miss this match. Type of setup. So even though they go through it in the hour beforehand, why not continually say, hey, there's this coming up. This is the match after the match that we're going to show coming up next, or this is the lineup card.
Yeah.
It feels, I don't know, maybe I'm vouching for something that has more continual information just kind of thrown out there, like Formula One. They constantly, I'm a big F1 fan.
Glad you didn't say FU.
But it's something that they at least try to throw out there. This is when the next thing's going to happen, because they have at least in a normal weekend they have 3 free practices, a qualifying, and then a race. But they don't miss the opportunity to say, this is the streaming service we have for Formula One. This is what's going on right now. They obviously, at least through their streaming service, will equate it to the premium live event. Oh, sorry. But they don't hesitate to say, hey, if it's on a Friday, they have free practice 1 and 2. In the middle of free practice 1, they at least mention 2 or 3 times practice 2 is at this time, or come back 2.5 hours from now, whenever it may be, and then tomorrow, it's I don't know. Maybe I get
overthinking it.
I think I am because now that I'm kind of circling back around to it, they each match deserves its own focus and attention, but I understand the intricacies of the show, and it only needs a couple tweaks to be that much better. But
so typically what they do is right before the match, they'll say, next on the card is this match. They show the video, and then they go into the entrances, and that's the WWE style of doing it. Yeah. AEW does it a little bit differently, and to some degree, it gets to be too much, and I tune it out because they promo the matches throughout the entire show, pretty much every match. Still to come tonight, we have this, this, and this, and then we have this, and then we have this, and then the graphics are popping up on the screen while the match is happening, and it, to some degree, it detracts from what's happening in the ring because they're talking about it and it's showing up on the screen.
Hey, you don't have to be distracting, but at least have the person that's a casual watcher hooked for the potential in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I like the thought of mentioning some of the other matches that are coming up tonight. You know, just a quick rundown. Have those on there, but not the full, here's the match, and then here's a 4-minute video package on it. So, still to come, by the way, we have our main event and our other main event, because there are those main events. And Howard will finally get his match, which is the 6-man tag match, but that is not the main event. It is sandwiched between the main events. So is it the actual main event? Howard the ref will let us know when we get there. Stay tuned for that.
Howard I just want to say, all that ranting aside, I didn't get it in there, but I almost kind of think I should have tanked a few more of these so I could actually have a drink, because
well,
I'm too sober for all of this.
You still can. I mean,
join the club.
I can get the whiskey. I mean, if you want to start having some fun, we can have some fun. The show is half over.
If you give me your picks, I'll know if you have another shot in you at least.
That's all right. It leads to the surprise, you know.
Okay. Well, it begs the question: have you gone perfect in one of these shows previously?
I have not. I have never aced one. Kidder has.
Okay.
But I have never been perfect.
It's been a while.
Right.
So, no, I've never gotten it 100%. I usually will miss one match.
Sure.
Somewhere.
All right.
But I mean, I'm shocked that I'm this, but I know some of the matches coming up, and there's at least one where I don't know how to. I'm still debating.
Confident.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Forecast confidence has been reducing. So,
Shot watch is active.
All right. That triple threat match is finally over with. Commercial comes on for the DraftKings promo, and it's Bobby Lashley and Big E. I thought this was weird because Bobby Lashley was just in the ring, and now he's in a promo talking about matches. Clearly, he didn't do well on there because he would have picked himself to win.
He cleaned up. He cleaned up pretty quick.
Pretty quick. Big E was there, like I said, and they're doing the prediction game on DraftKings. And interesting things of who will get the first pin, who gets the first whatever, who goes to the top rope, who blah, blah, blah. So
they're trying to copy our gig.
Right. And I feel that guessing who will win the match and then the random bonus questions is more than enough. I don't think we need to go into all of this extra garbage because Howard would have a nightmare keeping statistical track of everything. So, you're welcome. Commercial number 2 was the Night of Champions promo. Again, Saturday, May 27th from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Noon Central Time start, which means that they will have an 11 a.m. Central Time kickoff. So you can watch an hour of garbage before you actually get to the real show. Next up, it is the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Your current champion won at WrestleMania, Rhea Ripley, versus, in some aspects, Puerto Rico's very own Zelina Vega. I chose Rhea Ripley. Rude boy.
I also chose Rhea Ripley.
On this one, I'm sticking with Ripley. I think the only reason that Zelina Vega is getting a title shot is because they could claim her as being from Puerto Rico and the hometown crowd, and
they listed her as from New York.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know the entire history of Zelina Vega, but her mother and stepfather live in Puerto Rico, I guess. She is of Puerto Rican descent, according to what I gathered from the commentating tonight. And she has lived in New York City for a while, or at least hails from New York City, and her father was killed in the 9/11 terrorist attacks. So there's that. Huge pop for Zelina, I do have to say. She entered second, which I thought was also interesting. Rhea Ripley made her entrance first and wearing white ring apparel, which, Jaco, you know that the white ring apparel of the wrestler sometimes means that they are dropping the title. So, interesting fact there, or thing. This match was 7 minutes, 10 seconds. Again, I mentioned Zelina Vega, very patriotic with the red, white, and blue. She not only had the ring attire with the Puerto Rican styling of the flag, but also had a giant flag as part of a robe, which was cool. Her family was also at ringside, and she was now, or is now, part of the Latino World Order that Rey Mysterio brought back. All right. Here we go. Just so you know, Jake, Rhea Ripley was drafted to Raw. Zelina Vega drafted to SmackDown. Rhea Ripley has the SmackDown Women's Championship, and Bianca Belair has the SmackDown Women's Championship and was drafted to, or the Raw Women's Championship draft. See, this is all immensely confusing and makes the draft pointless, and 2 women's championships even more pointless. Anyway, the titles are on the wrong show, and so they'll probably do the swap again. All right. Rhea Ripley, Vega, go right at it. They started battling. They ended up going to the floor, and Zelina grabbed a sandal from her mom and threw it
that was my favorite part of the match.
Threw it at Rhea Ripley. So my question is, why did the referee not call the match then? Because it was a weapon. That was. I know it was a flip-flop, but it was a weapon, and it was thrown. So anyway, Ripley hit a power bomb on Zelina. Ripley told fans to suck it. She thinks she's DX now. Ripley whipped Vega into the turnbuckle and then did the Eddie Guerrero shake to the Viva La Raza to upset the fans. On top of that, more whipping from the turnbuckle and back with a backbreaker. And then Ripley applied a submission with Vega on her back. Ripley went for a spear, but Vega moved out of the way, went shoulder first into the ring post. Then Vega got some offense, few clotheslines, and then Ripley hit a headbutt, which destroyed Zelina. Ripley ended up going for the Riptide, but Vega countered it with a huge DDT, which was pretty cool. Ended up getting Rhea Ripley onto the ropes. And what did Zelina do? A la Rey Mysterio, the 619. Just to make Howard happy, because he loves those moves, how they're set up. Zelina then did an Eddie Guerrero-like shake on the middle rope and hit a Meteora. Very good move there. Rhea Ripley ended up hitting a roundhouse kick, which stopped Zelina Vega running toward her. Rhea then hit the Riptide and hit the pinfall right there. Again, 7 minutes, 10 seconds to pick up the victory. Your winner, it's still SmackDown Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley. The match, all right, she's supposed to be dominant. Not too bad in that respect. I guess I would have liked to have seen her champion earlier, so then Zelina would have had a legitimate chance at winning the championship here, because I think it would have done a lot for the people of Puerto Rico and Zelina's career, because, I mean, she could use a championship, let's be honest. And she's pretty good. Also interesting, I don't know if Rude Boy knew this, but Jaco, I'm pretty sure you remember this, that, of course, Malachi Black and Buddy Murphy are the significant others of both women in this match, and both work at All Elite Wrestling. So, kind of interesting to see, you know, your spouse versus your spouse, and, of course, you know, who won.
Yeah, I'd say this is one of the more entertaining matches, even though it was a short one for the night. Yeah, like you said, it felt like it was, I mean, the crowd obviously was in favor of the hometown. The hometown crowd definitely had the bias. I mean, it was one of the louder part of the matches. So, but yeah, I mean, going against Rhea Ripley at this point in time is it's tough to write her off. So that's why I picked her.
It was a good emotional moment, and so
yeah. I mean, especially after the match, they even kept on before going to intermission or commercial of her saluting her family and the crowd, and that was a nice touch.
So there's that. Next, a video of Butch and Ridge Holland promoting an Arnold Schwarzenegger series on Netflix called Fubar. There you go. And then a promo about the Judgment Day. And then another video package about Bad Bunny. And then there you go, the double main event. Which Rude Boy really liked. It's his favorite.
I nodded off.
Oh, okay.
I watched the wrestling matches, not the
promos.
Not the promos.
Okay. Well, next up is your first of two main events. Two for the double main events. It's the San Juan street fight with Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. My choice, Bad Bunny.
I'll hop in. I think it's going to be Bad Bunny as well. I think that they're being in Puerto Rico, they're going to give it to him. Make the fans happy.
Yeah, I had zero knowledge of either wrestler beforehand, so I chose the one with the funnier name was Bad Bunny. So there we go.
That works.
Thought this was interesting. Rude Boy also mentioned that he had no idea who Bad Bunny was. In all honesty, I didn't know who he was either until he showed up with WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Made a song with Booker T called Booker T. This match, by the way, there, Jaco, 25 minutes exactly.
Woo.
Yep. 25 minutes. The San Juan street fight. So, here we go. Damian Priest makes his entrance first. He is also wearing white gear and has the Puerto Rican flag honoring his heritage.
They made the specific mention of the white gear on broadcast too, so
because it is the same gear that he wore 2 years ago at WrestleMania when he and Bad Bunny teamed against The Miz and what's his name? Mr. Bionic Fist.
Oh, John Morrison?
No, with the Pokemon card.
Oh, Logan Paul.
Yes, thank you. That guy. So he was wearing this.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
What, you just blowing stuff up, or you laughing at Logan Paul?
No. Yeah, well, yes.
Okay. Well, his music hits, and it's Bad Bunny. Yes, one of his tracks playing. And interestingly enough, pretty much the entire crowd is singing the song. I've never heard the song before in my life. But the whole crowd was singing, so good for them. Bad Bunny also initially carrying the red, white, and blue Puerto Rican kendo stick. But right at the entrance, which I forgot to mention earlier, I hate how the ramp was set up because it was a curved ramp to the ring. They came out from, I don't know, a locker room area, and so that was set up with the LED walls, but you really couldn't see it. And I would have liked a straight shot from there to the rings to get better viewing angles. So it kind of bothered me. But anyway, Bad Bunny grabs a shopping cart a la Raven, and it's full of weapons. So he's ready to go. He's been shopping around. So here we go. Street fight, weapons are legal, no DQ, no count out. So you know what that means. Anyone, anytime, anywhere can come join the fun. So first of all, they had a stare down. Damian Priest is slightly taller than Bad Bunny, and so they were doing this face-off in the center of the ring, and Priest shoved Bad Bunny down, and then they were slapping each other, and then it was almost like a South Park fight for a second because, you know, throwing the slaps, but they started throwing some actual moves and kicks, and then I think this went way too long without involving the weapons or the no DQ, no count-out rules, because there was just back and forth in the ring. And then eventually...
There are a couple of times that you thought the match was going to be done well, like you said, within 10 minutes of it starting, it was...
They took too long.
A couple moments where either wrestler was going to be victorious.
Yeah, so they were, you know, an arm wringer and a jawbreaker and sunset flip, a hit, a forearm to the face, running back elbow splash, the South of Heaven slam, axe handle slam. Then the toys come out. There's a chair, there's a kendo stick, there's another kendo stick, there's shoving back and forth, the tornado DDT, clothesline over the top, the crossbody block, trash can lids back and forth from Bad Bunny onto Damian Priest on the floor. Then they got back into the ring. There's kendo sticks, kendo shots. They're blasting each other. And then a Falcon Arrow slam on Damian Priest for a 2 count. Then Priest hit Bunny in the back with the trash can. And then Priest grabbed the red, white, and blue kendo stick and simulated like he was going to hit a home run with the bat. And
I mean, yeah, Priest had baited him into walking up the makeshift ramp that they had in the arena. He basically had him going like he was done with the match.
Yep.
And he got him in right position for the strike. So
it was one of those deals, and then countered the trash can. So that's where Priest really got the upper hand. Again, he was doing the baseball, you know, like he was I don't know, Sammy Sosa
hitting a home run.
But the crowd was booing. Then they went out into the crowd and over to the tech area, and Damian Priest put Bad Bunny on top of one of the equipment boxes. They started fighting back and forth, but Priest punched him and then gave Bad Bunny the broken arrow slam off of the boxes through a couple tables, straight on through. The officials came out. It was Adam Pearce and Sean Daivari. They're trying to get Damian Priest to stop, and Priest said,
multiple referees, too.
"This is going to be done when I say it's done." So Damian Priest carries Bad Bunny over his shoulder back to the ringside and drops him like a sack of potatoes in the ring. At that point, Priest goes for a spin kick. Bad Bunny ducked. Priest's foot hits the ring post, and he must have broke his ankle. So Bad Bunny brought a kendo stick and starts hitting the ankle area again, and Bad Bunny starts going after him. Priest gets up, but of course, his leg gives out, and Priest is telling the ref that he's fine, and this keeps going back and forth, right? So Bad Bunny grabs his knee and then slams it into the ring post, the classic knees around the post and then the grab and slam. Bad Bunny gets a steel chair. The crowd goes nuts, and he starts hitting on that with the steel chair. And then Bad Bunny is holding the chair, standing over Priest. Bad Bunny is getting suckered in because Priest is apologizing and pleading to Bad Bunny, and he starts leaning over him, and guess what? Bad Bunny, you shouldn't have been fooled into that, because Priest kicks him, and he goes flying back to the turnbuckle. And then guess what? The Judgment Day. Dominic and Finn come running down, enter the ring. They start attacking Bad Bunny. No DQ, no count out. Dominic and Balor stomping a mud hole into Bad Bunny. And then guess what? The LWO hit the ring. Rey Mysterio comes running out, but Dominic and Balor start beating up on Rey. And then, all of a sudden, yeah, that's right. It's the guy who spit the face of people who don't like to be cool. It's Carlito himself with his shaker and apple in hand. No, he didn't actually have a shaker. It was just the apple. Carlito comes down to the ring. The crowd goes nuts. Hits a backstab.
That's when I knew it was a true street fight.
Mm-hmm.
The buddies always show up to defend their other buddies.
Now we're actually getting into the action. And like I said, Carlito hits a backstabber on Balor. And then Carlito grabs the apple, bites into it. Dominic hits Carlito in the back, but then Rey hits a 619 on Dominic. And Carlito, who still has the apple in his mouth, does the apple spit in Dominic's face. And then, well, guess what? Dominic and Finn Balor try to go back down the ramp. Well, the music hits, and it's Savio Vega, and he's wearing the LWO shirt. Fans go nuts. They're going crazy. They're losing their damn minds. Savio
Between
calls,
a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, that's I think what Michael Cole was saying there.
Yeah.
Savio calls for some more backup, and Santos Escobar and Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde, the rest of the LWO, who used to be known as the one group led by Zelina Vega, come running out and start beating the crap out of Judgment Day. And then Balor thinks that he's getting away, but Savio smashes Balor with some huge chops across the head and an uppercut and then a back kick. And then they all chase Judgment Day into the back. And then suddenly we cut back to the ring. Hey, there's a match. There's a match still going on here. Well, Priest is still selling the injury. Bad Bunny grabs the leg, goes for the figure four itself. Priest goes down for the 2 count, got his shoulder up, but misses that 2 count there. So, yes, the match still going on. Priest grabs Bad Bunny by the throat to get out of it, tries to slam. Bad Bunny wiggles out of it, and then a 2 count out of that. Priest charges at Bad Bunny. He moves. Priest hits the steel chair. Bad Bunny hits the sliced bread neck breaker off the turnbuckle, nearly landing on his neck, but, gets a 2 count off of that. So Bad Bunny has to go back, get the toys, because, damn it, this is a street fight with no rules, no DQ. You might as well use the damn stuff. He grabs a steel chair, beats down Priest with the chair, and the chair shots to the back. Bad Bunny hits the Canadian Destroyer, the 1, 2, and 3 count. Michael Cole ends up calling it a Bunny Destroyer, but he didn't destroy a bunny. He destroyed a Puerto Rican, so I'm kind of confused. Anyway, there it is, 25 minutes. Your winner, Bad Bunny. Everybody came back out to celebrate. They lift Bad Bunny up. The crowd is singing his theme song. And, Bad Bunny did pretty well with the wrestling moves here. He's doing a lot of back and forth. We've seen him wrestle before, so I appreciate his attention to those details. Thankfully, this was, a street fight, a specialty match, and so it didn't have to be just a wrestling match. So I think it worked in Bad Bunny's favor there. And then, of course, my biggest favorite of this match was when Carlito showed up, because, damn it, they got to bring this guy back. Bring Carlito back to the WWE, because he spits in the face of people who don't like to be cool.
It was good to see him show up, and I was glad he was part of the match, because those bring back good memories from the college days.
I was actually going to, Kidder. I thought about it after people had already locked in picks, but I actually thought, we missed the opportunity to have that as a bonus question. Does Carlito make an appearance? That was it. It did cross my mind. So I'm glad to hear that he was there, though, because I kind of expected it.
Yeah, and he's ripped as hell.
Yeah, he's in good shape. I'd say wrestling shape.
Yeah. Should make it happen. All right, another commercial for Night of Champions, which is, again, the second time that we saw Roman Reigns, and really the only time that you'll get to see him on this premium live event, because, why would the champion actually show up on a pay-per-view? Anyway, next is your main event that is not the main event. This is your 6-man tag team match. The bloodline of Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, and Solo Sikoa versus KO himself, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Matt Riddle. On this one, I was not quite thinking all the way through. I went with the champs, KO, and Sami with Matt Riddle. By the way, this match, 22 minutes. Rude Boy, your choice of the match.
Yeah, my pick was the Usos and Solo. So yeah, it was something I had vague knowledge of who the champions were, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go with the underdogs, so that's why I chose them.
The underdogs, the longest reigning tag team champions in WWE history. I know. Yeah. Anyway, Jaco.
So this is one of the matches that I have gone back and forth on, because I like Kevin Owens, I like Sami Zayn. I think that they're on a great run. I don't think anybody really wants to see them losing. However, titles are not on the line. Match they could lose. You can tell I haven't talked to them.
Don't get choked up about it. It's okay.
Yeah, but a match that they can, they can afford to lose. Titles don't change hands. You've added Matt Riddle and Solo to this, which means you have somebody to take the fall in Matt Riddle. All that said, I'm going to stick with KO and Sami Zayn. I'm going to stick with the champs.
See, that's the reasoning and logic I should have listened to myself, but I did not because whatever. So, video package airs, because why not air the video package and kill another 5 minutes before the actual match? Usos make their entrance as the Bloodline, and then you get Riddle with Bro, along with KO, and then Sami Zayn, and the crowd goes nuts for the ole, 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 ole. As you know they do. Again, this match, 22 minutes, the second longest match of the night. So, as an FYI, Bloodline drafted to SmackDown. KO and Sami Zayn drafted to Raw. But it was mentioned specifically, as we had talked about before, the titles of what happens, apparently with the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championships, they can be on both shows as long as they are champions. Matt Riddle is a Raw superstar. So, right away, Sami Zayn starts with Jay, and they go back and forth. Owens ends up doing a suck-it gesture to Solo Sikoa, and they go back and forth. I kind of wish that for this match, I had gone to the bathroom. I'm just going to say it, because my interest level in this match, as much as I love KO and seeing Sami Zayn and KO together, my interest level of this match is very low.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I'd say it overall the amount of action was good, but like you said, it felt like one of those matches where you're watching the camels race in the middle of the racehorse ticket list of events. I don't know. It felt entertaining, but not the most satisfying.
You should have a Snickers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
our next sponsor.
Yeah, if we can get somebody to actually start paying. There we go. So, a lot of back and forth at several points in this match, because you know how the Usos love to do super kicks? Well, about 5 minutes in, it became a super kick party, because the Usos are doing super kicks. KO doing super kicks. Sami Zayn doing super kicks. Riddle doing super kicks. It's a super kick party! And I'm, interested as to see when we're going to get the Jackson brothers coming in and, get the super kicks really going. I know they're at a different promotion, but still. That joke was made on one of the wrestling pages that I follow, because super kick here, super kick there, super kick here, lariat, super kick, blue thunder bomb, super kick, quick tag.
I will say this match had the best audio out of all of them, in terms of you make a connection. It almost felt like they had one of those. It was kind of like the speed skating type things, where they had the clap skates, where every time they hit the ice, it was just smack, 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 smack. Anytime they made a super kick connection to the head, it was just bam. It's almost like they had a little spacer in their shoe. Like,
no, there's no spacer. Rude boy, I know that you're not a wrestling guru, but you know where that comes from, right?
The Dutch.
Sort of. They are they're slapping the leg every super kick they make. If you watch real closely, you can see them doing that on the side. So the
timing must have been impeccable then. They had me fooled.
Well, I mean, they've only been doing super kicks for years, so. Anyway, there's super kicks there, super kicks here, super kicks out of nowhere. Shirts now throwing, knocking each other down. There's tagging back and forth, the mixed tags, and there's a little side story going because Jimmy and Jay, you know, they lost the championships, and of course that upsets the tribal chief, and so Solo has been the middleman between the tribal chief, and the Usos, and so there's a little bit of this tension that's being built, and so, anyway, there's exploder suplexes going on, haluva kicks, 2 counts, really cool move, one point, where Riddle starts blasting all 3 of the Usos. I shouldn't say all the Usos, even though they're brothers. Both the Usos and Solo Sikoa. They're outside the ring, and Riddle does the classic over-the-top rope splash onto the 3 of them, taking all 3 of them out. So, again, they're going for the big moves, as we are now into the precipice of this match. Now Solo looks like he's going to attack Jay, but Riddle was back in with a knee. Jay sends Riddle out of the ring. Owens comes up, tries to stunner Jay and Solo, but Solo hits the Samoan spike on Owens. Solo grabs Jay and nearly hits Jay with a Samoan spike. Jay starts yelling that I'm your brother. Zayn gets back up, knocks Solo down. Jay gets a roll-up on Zayn, but it's a 2 count. Jay hits a super kick again. Jay then jumps off the top rope, huge splash. Zayn gets the knees up, blocks that. More action back and forth. Riddle hitting the knee on Jay. Riddle gets a tag. Then he hits Bro Derek on Jay, but Solo makes the tag before Riddle hit the move. Riddle didn't know. Solo made the tag when Riddle went for the cover. Solo pulls Riddle off, hits a Samoan spike on Riddle. Solo pins Riddle, and the 1, 2, and 3. And there it is. The winner is the Bloodline, Jimmy, Jay, Uso, and Solo Sikoa. Again, there. Tons of super kicks, tons of the confusion at the end with the back and forths, and, you know, trying to create that extra drama.
Yeah, there's definitely 2 or 3 tags throughout the match that felt like the guy, oh, here we go, shot number 1.
Woo!
But, yeah, it was something like 2 or 3 of the tags from the Usos and Solo were definitely awkward, and you could tell that Solo felt like he had a bone to pick at some point, because he'd slap the guy's chest that was in the corner who was active at the time. And it basically there's one of them where you just gave him a freaking slap to the chest.
Gave him a good one, the good stiff
and
chop.
He's like, well, I'm legal now, and it ended up kind of sort of playing into how the match was won. But yeah, I'd say this one definitely set up one of the better storylines going forward out of all the matches tonight.
Gentlemen, I will say I'm disappointed that out of all of the matches we've had so far, the one that I've actually probably really cared who won, I'm wrong on. but that said, I'm kind of glad I finally get to have a drink on this show, because
cheers, my man.
Bottoms up.
So, cheers. Yeah.
For a second, I was hoping that was a Triple B shot glass.
He advertised it earlier.
I know.
Yeah, nope.
Here's your new Triple B shot glass.
Tall boy.
That's for the next show you're doing too well on. Listen, you're getting too many correct. This is your shot glass for the next one that you get wrong.
I was worried, Kidder. I was worried. I only had, so much ice hole left. I'm like, man, this could be a bad pay-per-view for me. I could end up finishing this.
You get to carry it over to the next one.
Yeah, although I might have to get another bottle. I tend to do much worse on the AEW shows. So,
well, yeah. The good news for you is the AEW show is after the next WWE Premium Live event. So, you have all day Saturday. I shouldn't say all day. If essentially, when the liquor store opens on Saturday, you better make your run, get your bottle or bottles, and then come back, because then the show will be done, by 4 p.m., and then we'll be doing this all over again, and then you'll have to recover before we do it again Sunday night after about 10 o'clock. So, well, 11, because AEW actually goes until 11. And they do matches on their pre-show. They do like 3 or 4 matches on the pre-show, and then they still have a 5-hour pay-per-view. Like, man.
Yeah, that'll be a long one. So
anyway, Rude Boy, you gonna join us for the marathon? Both of those
we'll see. We'll see.
There you go. There's the
a non-committal answer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll find out. What date is that?
That is Saturday the 27th for Night of Champions midday. So it will be afternoon of Champions for us. And then Sunday the 28th in the evening, it'll be AEW Double or Nothing live from Las Vegas, Nevada.
All right.
All right. That's 3 weeks away. Three whole weeks. All right. Next up, a video package about Gunther and Imperium. And then, another video package. How did you guess? It's my son, Cody Rhodes, talking about the setup there to Brock Lesnar in the whole 1 week. Well, 2, maybe, of setup. All right, there's that. This match, I went for the American Nightmare, my son, Cody Rhodes. Rude Boy.
Yeah, I chose Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar.
So this is
the split.
Yeah, well, this is one of the matches that I was probably the most undecided on, because you give Cody the win because you didn't give him the win over Roman Reigns, and if therefore you keep him strong, and therefore probably he ends up with that new World Heavyweight title, or do you have Brock be Brock? That's that's kind of the question. Brock just doesn't like to lose to anybody.
Well, we might have an answer for you here in a little bit.
Yeah, I am going to go with...
He is a free agent, too. So.
Oh, yes, Brock Lesnar is a free agent. No show can hold him down.
Yeah, I think Brock is on his way kind of possibly out and retiring, and they have big plans for Cody, So I think it's got to be Cody. And I'm going to guess, since you guys didn't share, I think, though, that because it's Cody and Cody does well with selling and likes to take some punishment, I'm going to go with 14 suplexes.
Oh, yes. My number was 6 suplexes.
And mine was 4 with no idea how many suplexes would be there, so...
I might be doing a double. I mean, Brock has been a little, I don't want to say lazy, but
He's been stingy on the suplex.
Yeah, he really has.
Hey, stingy on the suplex.
It was such a thing where there was a guy who would sit there and hold up cards for everyone.
It was great. That's how we knew that we were on track, because the guy in the left side of the camera had the card. 1, okay, perfect. 2, awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. So now that the picks are locked in, we can officially get this show on the road. My son, Cody Rhodes, making his entrance first. Huge ovation from the crowd. They're going nuts. Everybody going, whoa! For, the song. Because there's adrenaline in my soul. Anyway, Puerto Rico, very loud, very excited. And Brock Lesnar comes out second. A huge pop for him as well. And Lesnar did the slow walk to the ring and then makes the, slow walk circling the ring as well. And as he is coming back around the ring, he's putting his arms up, and Cody comes out of nowhere. Suicide dive straight onto Lesnar. The bell hasn't even rung. Cody's grabbing the hood of the commentator desk, hits Brock Lesnar right in the face with it. Cody grabs the steel steps, hits Lesnar in the head 3 times. Yes, 3 times. Cody used a steel chair then to hit Lesnar in the back. He's going to town with the steel chair in the back. Lesnar calls into the ring. Referee grabs the chair from my son, Cody Rhodes. And then ding, 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 ding. There we go. The bell has rung. And we're off this match officially. 9 minutes, 40 seconds in a singles match. So here we go. As we're off, Lesnar tackles Cody. Cody hits a disaster kick a couple times. Cody goes for the springboard attack. Lesnar catches him, and then German suplex. 1! Cody hits a neck snap against the top rope. Cody jumps off the rope, but Brock catches him, hits a fallaway slam. Lesnar grabs him again, and then German suplex. 2! And then picks him up again. German suplex. 3! The fans start chanting, Suplex City. Suplex City. Lesnar grabs Cody Rhodes and throws him for another German suplex. 4! And the fans keep on cheering it. And then Lesnar ends up hitting 2 straight vertical suplexes. Lesnar grabs Cody again, and then boom! German suplex. 5! Well, Cody ends up, as Cody is there being grappled by Brock at this point, Cody is grabbing the top turnbuckle pillow like this. And then, of course, Brock whips him over for the German suplex, and Cody rips the pillow for the turnbuckle off, and mid-throw whips the turnbuckle pillow into the 3rd row off to the side. That bitch is gone.
That was a decisive move.
That sumbitch is gone. Marco in the chat has a spoiler, and so I don't want to ruin the oh yeah moment for that one. But here we are as Lesnar had thrown for the 5th German suplex. Lesnar looks at the turnbuckle to see the exposed corner. Now Lesnar applies a bear hug, leading to an overhead suplex, which we count for 6. Lesnar steps back. Cody does the drop toe hold, and Lesnar face first into the exposed steel turnbuckle. And guess what? Lesnar gets busted wide open. Marco with the spoiler, the Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah, there it is, right outside. Lesnar, he's bleeding like a stuffed pig. So now, interesting thing, right? Because there's no bleeding in WWE, and I was talking to Rude Boy about this kind of during the match and then afterward, but no bleeding in WWE. They want to get rid of it. It's a family show. It's too gory. There's too much blood and everything. And Brock Lesnar says, and his bleeding.
It did not matter. There were stains on the mat, stains on each other.
He was clearly bleeding.
It
Let's just say that.
It was a decent opening.
So, Lesnar is stunned from the blood now, and Cody hits a Cody cutter and then gets a disaster kick along with the knees to the face. Cody ends up wiping some of Lesnar's blood on himself. Then Cody hits the Cody cutter off the top ropes, and then he hits the crossroads 2 times in a row and gets a close 2 count. Cody goes for crossroads again, but Lesnar avoids it and grabs Cody and hits an F5 for a 2 count. Then Cody gets the left shoulder up. They're on their knees. Cody's punching. Lesnar grabs the left arm and hits the Kimura lock submission on his left arm. Cody leans forward into the pinning position. Lesnar held onto one arm, and the referee's counting 1, 2, and there's 3. Yes, that is 3. My son, Cody Rhodes, picked up the victory right there in 9 minutes and 40 seconds there, baby girl. I do have to mention, because Rude Boy and I were counting the suplexes there, that Lesnar hit 8 official suplexes, because I know that I potentially had missed a couple as I'm going through the details of the match itself, but we can confirm with our very own eyes there, baby daddy, that there were 8 suplexes in that match. So, other things to mention, Cody continuing the story, as he's saying, because it's his road. He's got to beat Lesnar to get back on the road to meeting Roman to win the championships. Or maybe they'll sideline him and give him the World Heavyweight Championship as a, we didn't want you to have that one, so here, have this one instead. Lesnar was still pretty bloody. As Marco said, the Kool-Aid Man was there. Oh, no. But not quite sure if Lesnar, wanted to or meant to, but he ended up doing it. And then, of course, the funny thing is that in a match where there's blood involving Cody Rhodes, Cody was not the one bleeding, which kind of an alternate universe type thing here. What else?
Yeah, it felt like that match was rushed a little bit. As soon as Lesnar started bleeding, you could tell the way the cameras were panning, kind of back and forth to avoid the messiest of the action. But it was cool to see. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed that my pick didn't turn out. But kudos to Cody.
I thought it was funny. The most humorous part of the match again was the turnbuckle pillow sailing into obscurity, and I saw what looked like some WWE official running toward where the pillow ended up, and so I think they recovered the pillow and didn't let somebody go home with it, which that's a dick move, WWE. You posted like $2 billion in profit last year.
It's like a foul ball in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, let some poor WWE fan in Puerto Rico, the first time that they have seen a WWE event in Puerto Rico in 18 years, let them have their official game-used turnbuckle. Just let them keep it. In fact, let them get it autographed by a couple people, or have Brock Lesnar bleed on it or something. I don't know. Make it authentic,
Yeah.
Howard, what do you think?
It sounds like this was a decent match. I say decent because, Brock's matches as of late have not been all that impressive. Gosh, I almost dipped my paintbrush here into my drink.
Sweet.
Ooh.
Spicy.
Yeah, don't drink the paint water. Yeah, so it sounds like they at least got Cody got a decent match out of him. Is this one going to be a classic? No, probably not. And here's my one for the suplexes. So, cheers, boys.
Cheers.
There you go. The 17,944 in attendance. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. All right. Well, that's that's the show. Marco, any final thoughts? I mean, anybody else watching the stream, hit us up in the comments. I want to know your closing thoughts on tonight's premium live event. In fact, if you want to support these premium live events, get a premium T-shirt at beerbluesbs.com. I mean, look at that shirt that Howard has. It's premium. It's a triple B premium shirt, in fact. It's available at beerbluesbs.com or streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs. The link pinned in the chat, at least on Twitch. And you can find it in the top chat on the YouTube page and the show notes. For those of you listening to the audio version as well, it's in the show notes there too. For both. Anyway, Marco with the comment, as we had kind of talked about with the blood, but WWE made an announcement last week that they were banning blood altogether. And I did not specifically see that or hear about that announcement itself. Not sure, but I know Brock Lesnar does what Brock Lesnar wants, and so maybe it was an FU if there was a memorandum around WWE related to not bleeding during matches, but I don't know. Howard, you're the sleuth of the internet typically there. Did you see or hear anything about that?
I had not seen or heard anything about that, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of fallout comes out after it. But as I said, I think Brock is kind of getting ready to hang up the boots. There's really not much left to do with him. So will we see like any punishment for Brock? Probably not.
He's got to win the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to put that on him.
Yeah. Rude Boy.
Yeah, it was interesting to see the gore on display for a very rare change. So, but yeah, it was a fun match to watch. But yeah, like you said, it's even though they titled Brock Lesnar as the most accomplished fighter of all disciplines, it was something that you could kind of see the story progression for Lesnar possibly being done in the next imminent future. So.
Mm-hmm. And so she goes. Any other final thoughts? I mean, I talked about the graphics. Like the lower thirds, very impressive. The immersion graphics were pretty good tonight. You know how they do the augmented reality. I liked the theme that they went with for those. So, it wasn't too over the top. Again, the opening video, and I will give them props again that they have brought back the end of show recap video. So, quick recap of the entire show. I do like that. Saves you from having to watch the whole thing again, or, go to the WWE social media and watch the clips individually. And it's kind of, for me, it's a throwback, to like 20 years ago, watching the pay-per-views on pay-per-view, and you get that last moment of what you just watched before your $50 is officially gone forever. So, there's that.
I got two final thoughts for you there, Kidder. One, our final scores at the end of tonight for the predictions. In third place was Rude Boy Kyle with 3 correct. Kidder, you came in second place
2
with 5 correct.
Oh, 5?
Yep, 5. And I had 6 correct. So
well done.
There it is.
Yes, I'm
Go
pretty
from
happy.
the top of the music skills to the bottom of the wrestling skills. So
That's just the way this goes. So
that's the way she rolls.
Yep. And then the
your
second
thought. Yes.
Yeah, my second and last final thought. Kidder, just cheers on returning to radio. Good sir.
Thanks. Man.
Okay, now I'm officially done drinking for tonight.
For tonight. But it's a
For
new
tonight.
day. Yes, it is. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Again, you'll be able to hear me Monday through Friday, noon to 3 p.m. Central Time on 96.5 The Walleye, and on the free 96.5 The Walleye app, and also online at 965thewalleye.com for that. I had a thought for you there, Howard, kind of a question, and with your second thought, I ended up forgetting it.
Oh,
and it was related to all of this, but
well, maybe it'll come to you at another time where you can ask me.
maybe. I mean, it was related to this show, and so it's, once we're done with this and done, then it doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter now because I forgot, but
Yeah. Rude Boy, any last final thoughts?
No, it was a good evening watching the wrestling, making my picks real quick, and talking it out with you guys. And thank you for inviting me on for another show.
I do remember, and thanks for joining us, Rude Boy. It was the point for both of you, and if I'm not mistaken, because I know Howard has the listings of all of the shows for quite some time that we've been doing these, but the show that I guessed 100% correct, I believe it was Payback or something, and then and this was 3-4 years ago, something like that, and I'm pretty sure the very next event, whatever it was, I got 1 or 2 correct. So it's just how it goes. And I mean, obviously, if we were recording this for a later date, then Howard would be able to fire up the spreadsheet and do a little searching there to see for 100% fact checking. But I sprung this on both of you as a last minute thought there, because that's just how this goes.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
So, 3 weeks. 3 weeks until the next extravaganza. Times 2.
And on that terrible bit of news, Kidder, we've been talking for quite a while, and as is tradition on these wrestling reviews, since you've been doing the majority of the talking, It's everybody's favorite segment of Howard trying to do the cheap plugs while slightly intoxicated. Here we go.
Sometimes better than others.
Sometimes it is. I feel pretty good about tonight, although I'll probably end up hacking at some point because lung capacity. Let's get that one out of the way. All right. You can find us at our home in cyberspace, beerbluesbs.com. That's right. That is our website. That is where you can find out more information about the show. You can also, while you are there, buy us a beer. It's our kind of cheeky way of saying you can give us some money. You can donate. And you can do that by buying us a beer. It's very low prices. We haven't raised them with inflation. $3 easily buys a beer and gets your name on the show and a shout out. And if, hey, you want to leave a message with that, great. We'll read it out on the show. Also, while you are at beerbluesbs.com, you can click up at the top on a little button called merch, and that'll take you to our merch store where you can buy some great Beer Blues BS merch. Kidder's been putting out some of it throughout the night, such as the Triple B logo pint glass that he has, the premium t-shirt that I am wearing, or hey, you could get a bedspread with Kidder's picture on it, if you want to creep him out a little bit.
He laughs, but it's true.
It did happen.
Yes.
Once. Yeah. Anyway, it's a great place if you want to help support the show and get some cool threads. We also have some other great sayings and such there. So make sure you check that out while you are there. If you liked this show and want to learn more, hey, or if maybe you want to keep up on all the latest news, check out our Facebook page. Just search for Beer Blues and BS, the podcast, and every now and then we post some sneaky special things there. So keep an eye out. It's a great place to keep up with what we're up to. We're also on Instagram. There's the hacking. Which Howard is not up on the gram. I don't do social media. That's a Kidder thing. And so I can't tell you too much more about it, but if you're into that sort of thing, just search for Beer Blues and BS. I think it's at Beer Blues and BS is the Instagram thing. Kidder will correct me if I am
Beer
wrong.
Blues BS.
Yeah, there we go.
Very simple.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And thank you if you've been watching us as we stream. This is kind of a new thing we've been doing with the wrestling shows. If you want to catch the replay of this or some of our past content and you want to see it in person, see our happy smiling faces, faces that were meant for podcasting, you can always check us out over at YouTube. Just search for Beer Blues and BS. There's also some other great bonus little things that pop up there as well from time to time. Including a couple of spin-off shows such as Howard's Cave of Wonder, Kidder's Logs, and a few other things. So make sure you check us out. Maybe you have a road trip coming. I mean, it is summer. People are going to be doing some traveling. Maybe you're going to do some driving. You can take us with us in the audio form. That's right. The audio version of this podcast is available on all the major podcasting services. Everything from Spotify to Amazon podcasts, YouTube podcasts, Stitcher, Last.fm, Podbean, you name it. We're there, and you can download the show, take us with you. We're a great way to kill 2 hours on the road. And, sometimes you just need some good brothers to be traveling with you. Let's see. What am I missing? Hey, we heard tonight Kidder's going back on the radio, and that's great. But, hey, if you're excited for that and you want to get a head start on the musical selections of one Mark Kidder, hey, go over to Spotify. The Killer Kidder Show playlist is there. It's available, and it's a chance for you to get some good tunes that'll last you months and months. It's a lot of music.
The last check here, there are 7,155 songs, and that totals, at this time, 476 hours and 16 minutes.
Yeah. So, there you go. And with that, I think I've hit everything that I need to say. Who knows? As I said, I don't do this all that often. Reasons. And so with that man over on the other end, he is the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. Joining us tonight, special guest, Rude Boy Kyle, bringing in some excellent thoughts, opinions, and observations. Made the show 100 times better. And with that, just going to say, make sure to keep your glass at least half full. Free beer tomorrow, I hear. So watch out for that. And we'll see you all down that old Puerto Rican Tuscan highway.
Ole.
Have a good night, everybody.